Creativity is with everyone. It's just like, do they have the opportunity to do the thing that they want to do, the thing that they are interested to do? And when they are in that zone, providing them with the tool to discover themselves is the way to propel that creativity to a much, much higher level.
Welcome back to From the Magic Pencil. Today, I am joined by the executive director of an incredible organization in Cambodia called PEPY Empowering Youth. This is the wonderful Mien Loy, who's here to talk to us about creativity and how it has driven his life. So, Bang Loy, how are you today?
Thank you, Kristin. Yes, I'm doing well. The heat is too much, but I think I'm coping okay. So all is good. And thank you for having me today.
Well, I can say personally, the first time that I met you, we came in to meet you when you stepped in as executive director to explain what Writing Through does, how we've worked with PEPY through the years, and to hopefully have you continue that relationship. And Sue and I were so blown away by not only how much you understood and appreciated the importance of what we do, but also the way that you spoke about creativity and the importance of creativity in the lives of young people. So when we were thinking about people we could talk to for this podcast, you seemed like the obvious guest. Can you tell us a little bit about whether you feel like you live a creative life?
I think that's a good question. In terms of this context in Cambodia, I would say I'm the one of the first generation of people who I was born in the year 1980s. It's 1 year after the Khmer rules, the genocide regimes collapsed. The word creativity is very strange, but I would say that I remember when I was 20 plus years old, I think that if I have a choice to work, I would go to work at a phone company, Nokia. Then around 2003, 2004, there's a lot of creativity in Nokia. And I think that because my opportunity to study in Singapore for a while as an exchange student, there's a lot of things that happened to me. It overwhelmed me, but at the same time also gave me a lot of experience into how creativity kind of start to build on me. It's something that I always look for. Fortunately, it comes to me in some ways. And I think that I always want to live in this creative life, even though I study law, but I work with international organization and running my own business before and decided to leave Phnom Penh and come to live in Siem Reap. Now I'm executive director of PEPY Empowering Youth, which I work a lot with people mainly, but in terms of program design, in terms of how to support PEPY in longevity, sustainability, I would say that kind of creativity is needed for my whole life. And yeah, coming to meet Writing Through early last year, I was so happy that Peppy, had the opportunity to provide this very vital, I would say very important skill to young people, which I only kind of discovered when I was 38 years old, when I joined a photo workshop in Siem Reap, which I learned this process myself through photography, but writing through, bring this through poems, which I am amazed by reading through the poem by this young student who barely speak English but write it in English. And I'm so excited to be with Writing Through, to provide this service to the student.
And we love working with the students. One of the things that PEPY focuses on is soft skills. And do you think creativity is a vital soft skill for young people?
I think this is a very big factor. I would say that, all PEPY student or all student who get a certificate or get a degree will get a job. But the people who can become more than just serving a job, to become a leader, to become a manager, to become an influencer, a decision maker, they need this kind of creativity. In terms of creativity, not just about bringing something new to the table or, putting things together, finding fresh concept or idea, but it's about through writing through, I mean, it's the creativity, but brings through knowing about yourself. Through my photo workshop, it was a one big process, and it was very difficult, I could say. Some students were crying because of the demand and the workload. And I went through and I discovered the process, discover how to be creative, how to pick up the story of the photo projects that I can do or I want to do. And I think that writing through is also providing this kind of process the same way through practice, through this 5 days or one big activity for the student. This is in a way provide them a tool, to come back when they get older, when they more stressful. They have this writing through tool to go back to understand themselves, to learn by using that process, writing poem, express themselves. I hope they will be able to cope with their life hardships and also bring the best out of themselves and make them become somebody they want to be.
And how did you end up getting into photography?
When I come to live in Siem Reap, I abandoned my business life. I abandoned my circle of business networks in Phnom Penh because I failed a few business in Phnom Penh. I was looking for something to be calm, to be peaceful. And when coming to Siem Reap, I decided to buy a camera and I took photos, but it's only like photo for Instagram and it's not good. And there is this opportunity. My photograph was not even qualified for that. But luckily, somebody from Hong Kong or China dropped out from that group of 20 students. And then they called me and I was so happy. My photo then look nothing. It's just looking for beauty patterns or something, but it doesn't tell story. And through that process that I work with the coach, with the trainer, it's about looking into yourself and how to bring yourself, to bring your emotion out through the land. And I would say the same as writing through is to bring yourself out, your mind, what you want to shout about, what is hurting you, what you are happy about through the pencil, going into words, going into a poem. And I think it's the same process. And yeah, I would say I'm lucky, somehow, but that's life can be. And I'm happy that I have been through that process. And so that's why I'm so thrilled and really happy to have something like this in writing through, for the student. I just hope that this can get wider and have more students in Cambodia to learn this process.
Yeah, working with someone like you is always interesting because every meeting we have, you have some other big, wonderful, and well thought out idea. And do you think that through photography and through the introspection you've done, you're more brave with following ideas?
I'm not sure in terms of the word brave, but I think that when somebody know oneself more and more, deeper and deeper, I think that they start to know that what matter is to tell the truth, is to say what you think is right, you think it's the truth, and you want to tell about what you think and what you learn. Maybe brave is kind of the end product, but in that process, there's a lot of tormentations, a lot of soul searchings, like looking for one or two words that resonate with your life, thinking, researching what fit into that, what fit into your thinking, or how your thinking gonna offense or does not fit with what you want to do. But then you realize that, okay, you have a combination, a successful combination, like a key to the puzzle. And then you start to become, I think, extroverted, I would say, or like brave to talk about yourself. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. And I think this is when I would say that most of the students bring into their poem, like we are reading their heart when we read the poem. I think, yeah, brave probably the end product in conclusion, but there's a lot of this process that I would say is help people to realize. Yes, that I would say need an explanation for that. Yes.
Do you think it's a similar process when you're trying to find a story for your photographs as when you're trying to find a new strategy for the organization? Or is it a different process?
I think it's similar. It's very similar. Like physically and mentally, you need to be away from your desk. I would walk around if I don't have anything. I always ask this to my friend. How's an artist finish their job? In programming work, we have like structure or form to fill out, and we may not have the number yet, but we wait for confirmation from here and there, research from internet, and looking data from local resources. I would say that creative works as an artist, they are also under even more pressure than programming work. But at the same time, I think if programming work follow the same process of the artist, which I practice a lot as a top person in an organizations, it bear better results. There's a lot of question on the table or tasks on the table from time to time that I don't know what to do at first. How to solve this problem. Then I need a break. I need to forget about it. I think that it's the same like I take photograph. When I think about what I want to do, then I need to wait. If sometimes I go out to shoot, but I know that it's not working because probably the time is not good enough. I was not in the zone. So if I go to a place that I have only, let's say, 2 hours, and I want to finish the things that it will take half day or one day to complete, it would not happen. And I think that program is the same. I would not say procrastinating, but you wait for something to click, and that would take a few days or until like one day or half day to the deadline. Then something click. You spend 30 minutes, it's done. So I would say that the creative process is very helpful for people who can really understand and take advantage of it. Then at the same time, you are not nervous. You forget about it and you work on your routine, something else, but something is working in your subconscious. And then probably in your bathroom, oh, okay, I know what to deal with this.
I always give the example when I'm trying to remember somebody's name or a word and it just gets stuck and I can't get there. And I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking in the wrong way. And that closes off all the other ways. And then you're in the bathroom later, exactly like you said, and just pops into your head. It's amazing how brains work like that.
Yes, it works best in the relaxed ways. That's why we talk about meditations, and it helped me with that as well.
So when you were talking about your work where you realize that it's not going well, sometimes that can be really helpful. But most of us, we have an inner critic, right? When we're creating something, we have a voice in our head that says, that's not good enough or that's not right. How do you deal with your inner critic when you're trying to work creatively?
I would say the inner critic is there, but if we do our best, then just let the lesson learn and improve it in the next step. At the same time, be kind to yourself. We can say that there's always a second chance, but whatever chance you have, do the best, and so that you don't regret. And there's a lot of things in life that I try to do and not to have this regret. I can be tough with my staff, with my subordinates, with my families, but because I don't want to regret. As long as you know that you do your best, then the inner critic will also have to suit you, if it doesn't work. And I think that when I decided to come to Siem Reap, one night I decided, all right, I'm gonna live poor in Siem Reap, forget about whatever I want. I want to be a tycoon. I want to be rich. I want to have $100 million. Then my shoulder kind of like fly. I feel like I've done a lot, and I have my family, my siblings a lot. And so I think that the inner critic also helps suit you.
You mentioned before, you asked the question, does an artist ever finish their work? We spoke to some professional poets recently and we asked a question similar to that. how do they know when their poem is ready? Do you think there's a point when you're creating that you know it's done, or do you think you just have to decide that it's done? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. I think that we need to decide. In terms of programming works, there's a couple elements into that. We have donor expectations, program targets, and indicator, and also staff ability. So my job is to manage the expectation of the donor and also to support the staff, at least meet the objective. But at the same time, I want them to grow more than just that, to be super, to be a lot better than that so that they can move on to a better place, to build themselves, to build their futures. In terms of photographies, when you have a client, you gotta have a deadline, right? 1 month, 2 weeks, or 3 months. You should not beat yourself that it doesn't work well. There is this term called artist block, that an artist somehow come to a place or a time when they cannot create anymore. For me, even though when I start drafting ideas of projects, I would rather not putting in the Word document yet. I don't want any form or structure yet. I'm happy to be with my note. I don't use a paper note nowadays. I use a phone note. So I like this because I don't know why, like the free form of just taking note a few days or a few weeks. This keep me creative. And when I think that I don't have more, then I start putting into word and then structure it, and then add the formality into it. That's the process of the programming works. But in terms of creative, in terms of artist, what I would say is that by allowing the time to write and understand that when you click, when you're in the zone, then that's it. It take some practice, but when you into one, then you know.
I was lucky enough to attend the PEPY Our Story this year, which is an event that's put on by your students where they showcase their creative talents. So there were poems on display, there were paintings on display, dances, little dramatic plays, and music. What do you think is the best way that you can foster creativity in these young people and help them to find their talents and explore?
I think that right now, I would say either painting or performance or others like singing or whatever. It's about put them in the process, like writing through process. That's why I really admire and appreciate writing through work with PEPY and in Cambodia, because allowing them to go through this process, to let them experience the process that can be repetitive for themselves. And when they want to be creative, they want to be unique, to be genuine, to be fresh, to be the real artist, to be the innovator, to be the trailblazer. I think writing through has all of those components to help them through the poem. And in order for them to experience this once, and I'm not sure a lot of process you may have trouble or challenge to bring students into the zone. If you can provide them this, if you can help them to come into the zone just once, that's it. And then whatever they want to take up in the future, they will look for that pattern to go into that. Even for me, after the photo workshop, I experienced it, but it took me a couple of years to really understand that. And not through forgetting about it, but through research. I did a lot of research. I spent a lot of time reading about photography, reading about the work, and following everything that I can help immerse myself with all the information available on the internet, I would say, because there's no coach in Cambodia about that, to be honest. Like even though I was in the zone during the week, because I produced some photo that stunned my teachers, which I come from a few days ago, that I know nothing about storytelling. If I am to select the photo myself that time for the show, for the final exhibition, 80% of the photo that was put on the exhibition, I would take out because I don't understand the storytelling. I don't understand the meaning, the language, or whatever. And even though they say that, oh, this is a very good picture that you have, I say, no, it's not good because I take the camera and click only once and that's it. Because I took 3,000 photos for 1 week. And a lot of photo, I would take around 10 shots here and there. I try to find the good angle or something, but allowing the photo to come to you. That's what they say. They told me. And that's the creative process. And I would say writing through is the same. Allowing the word to come to you. Allow your mentor, your physics to be at a certain place that those words come to you.
That made me actually think of something that might be a bit of a strange question. So, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, Cambodians tend to be quite artistically talented. I've had many students that are fantastic at drawing or singing or dancing. Do you think that Buddhism and the meditation that comes through that could have an effect in that letting ideas come? And I don't know, it's just something that popped into my head. What do you think?
For me, I think it can be separate thing for two separate things for the student because student, I think at their young age, they don't really meditate, even though they learn about Buddhism, but they always come with kindness. But there's a lot of story that old people in their family talk about, as you know, Cambodian family, like even though you are 20 years old, if you are not married, you sleep in the room with your parents, so you are very connected with the family, and probably a lot of story come from that. But at the same time, I would say that creativity is with everyone. It's just like, do they have the opportunity to do the thing that they want to do, the thing that they are interested to do? And when they are in that zone, providing them with the tool to discover themselves is the way to propel that creativity to a much, much higher level. And I think that we can achieve that in Cambodia in the long term. I think it's there, but the opportunity, our education methodology and system does not really provide much of this creativity to prosper. And also our society, our market, or our understanding of art is not there yet, that artists are not very versed. What I want to see in Cambodia, I want to see, let's say, my friend driving a nice car, but also have a good music in his car. Not big car, but junky musics, no taste. Or my friend who has a villa, a big house, and have good paintings in their homes, not wooden furniture, clunky furniture, set for the forest. So this is the level of intellectuals in Cambodia. And I think that the time will come when a lot of artists will get revert a lot in Cambodia, where, people then will buy a house and would not find it complete if they don't have a good painting, a good poem, a good photography in their home. And that would have propelled economically the artistics in Cambodia. Like I say, now go into the car, and in general, that's the level of education or intellectual that we have. Or go into the house, big house, but it's just the house. It's nothing else. Like you have these material things, the wall, the roof around you, but you can only see the cash or the bragging about the money that they have, but it's not richness in their intellectual. That's why, to be honest, very difficult to find friends to talk to. And I'm so happy that we are talking about this right now.
It's really interesting because I find in a lot of the bigger Cambodian houses that I've been into, it feels quite cold. Not weather-wise, but it is that really heavy, dark wooden furniture that's not actually comfortable to sit on. And there's very little coziness to it that I think
Yes.
having artwork, having things that adorn the home would bring. So that's a really interesting point, because I always wonder what is the thing that's missing when I go into homes like this.
Right,
For
right,
me,
great, yes.
for me, right? I'm not going to judge if other people that's what makes them happy, but I always find there's something a little bit missing from them. So interesting you mentioned that.
Yeah. Because they probably don't know they're missing it yet, because their intellectual level is still in survival mode, even though they already passed that, but they don't go to a level of like intellectual satisfaction. There's another example. I would say that my friend spent like $250,000 on a house, and he spent like all the week at work, and on a Saturday and Sunday, he don't want to be at his home. He would rather sit in a brown cafe instead. So there's something wrong. So what is the how for you then? Because you did not like have a good support from somebody to help make the space that you have, that you spend a lot of money and bring a harmonious space with your feeling, with your emotion, so that on the weekend you can be there all day and be happy with your family. You don't need to always think about bringing your family out, like, okay, you don't meet them much, but if you just meet them and have fun in your home, that's the best. And that's happen all the time. You see every weekend buy all the cars around all of these aircon cafes. But I think a lot of these people have aircons at home. But I think that probably they don't know it's missing, but they just know that there's something better. I plan to build my own homes as well. I have land and still buying more land, but I'm still right now looking for a few words so that the architect and landscaper can bring me that word, that sensation in my living quarter, in my home, the space. And I know it's gonna be expensive, but I would say that I would build a small home, but with the big budget for that design.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just your own little sanctuary.
Yeah, yeah, yes. You need a professional to design it, not just like looking into catalog and then put together thing. Because that's why you go to a big house in Cambodia, all of those dark wooden furniture and uncomfortable to sit with. It's just for show, but it's not, for living.
And yeah, that again, when you're talking about having that intellectual way of thinking, it again comes back to creativity, right? You want to have an architect that can dream of the design that's perfect for you, right? Where sometimes you don't even know what that design is.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
And
true,
I
true.
find that a lot of times when I want a tattoo, for example, I'm not an artist, I can't draw for the life of me, but I get lots of ideas. And so the perfect tattoo artist for me is someone that I can tell my very vague idea, say, I don't really know what I want it to look like. And then they show me, and I say, that's exactly it.
Yes, yes,
Like, I
correct. I
didn't
think
know
this the
it,
same.
but you're right. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We all need professional help.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes just having the person that you can throw ideas at that can take those ideas and merge it with their own skills, tools, and talent, it's such a wonderful process.
Yes, yes. And Cambodia needs the kind of thinking so that artists has more reward and artists can improve themselves and be genuine, be creative, be special, unique to present their artwork in their own way that and then they have their own market and a good market that pay them.
So, one last question that I have for you. It's something that comes up a lot whenever people are creative and work in creativity is meeting people in your life that say, "Oh no, I'm not creative." What would you say to somebody that tells you that they are not creative?
I would say that when they say that, they may have some experience before. Probably they don't want to think about it, but they never have really find something that really interests them, to do. We cannot force people to be creative. Like the program, like we are doing right now at PEPY, allow the student to pick up the major they want to study, to explore their own space, their own mentality through education and writing through, we hope that we nurture that the space for them to have the mental freedom to try to find what really work for them. And it take a lot of time. It takes years to do that. And for people who say that they are not creative, I would say that creativity is with everybody. Maybe they don't find something that really interests them, things that excite them that they cannot go to bed or they cannot wait to wake up in the morning to continue that process. I think when they find that, creativity will come. So I think that it's God given, but don't take it for granted. Can be nurtured with a good environment. Like if they meet it, then they cannot stop thinking about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. I want to make a note that you're not the first person from PEPY that we have had as a guest on this podcast. And the reason being that the work that you do is so incredible. Your staff, your alumni, your students, they're so well known in the community in Siem Reap because they're doing so much and they're just such wonderful people. And I think it really comes through in the programming that you employ at PEPY. So thank you for doing what you're doing, and we are looking forward to some really big things coming up in the next few years in collaboration with Writing Through and PEPY.
Yes, I'm grateful for having Writing Through in Cambodia, and you are spearheading this creative process in Cambodia. I cannot imagine before I met you that there's you guys here already doing a lot of work. So it's good for Cambodia's future. Thank you so much.
It seems hard to believe, but next month is our season finale, and so we decided to change things up. In the final episode, Sue is the one who is being interviewed. Our 2023 Wesleyan interns, Rachel Walkman and Ava Phelps, chat to Sue about her own personal journey and how that led her to creating Writing Through, why she feels what we do is so vital, and her ambitions for the future. Here's a short clip.
I personally think that the bigger the world, the smaller the world. The more people of different backgrounds, different kinds that you can meet and talk to and listen to and learn from in an open, creative way, the more we would all understand each other and we could work together.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, and go and check out earlier episodes from this season or last season. We've had so many excellent chats with truly fascinating people. You don't want to miss out. Thanks so much for listening. Goodbye.